We want you to be able to say from the main hero image, do I know everything that I need to know before I click to make this purchase? Well, why would I take that? What is that doing for me? I think I've looked at 15,000 listings. So I'm pretty slick with finding things. And if I'm having a problem finding it, what do you think my wife, who she shops, but she doesn't really look at listings like I do, she's going to have a problem understanding what this is for. We are here today to talk about strategies and best practices and where you should be looking to move and pivot in your Amazon business for 2025. Tell everyone who you are and what you're doing.
Hey, and welcome. So my name is Noemi. I'm the co-founder of ScaleWave. We are a digital marketing agency specialized in helping brands between 5, 6, 7-figure even succeed on Amazon. And basically that's what I'm doing. I've started ads 5 years ago. We started our own brand. I knew nothing about ads. We started from scratch. I was super not passionate about all that, but I knew that I want to do something with my life. And this was the something I wanted to do. Fast forward, in 5 years, I learned a lot about Amazon PPC. This became my passion. And actually, this is also the reason why we hopped on this call, because PPC is just the 1% component. It's traffic to whatever already works fine. The 99% is the rest. It's inventory, SEO, and creatives, which most of the time just don't get enough traction. And that's something that we want to educate today, everyone who would watch.
I'm John Aspinall with PickFu, the gold standard for consumer insights and research in looking at your products and understanding what's going to work and what ad is going to resonate and what hero image is going to be your best foot forward for getting a better CTR and just overall getting consumer insight on your product that you might not know. We have 4 topics here that we're really going to talk about and hit hard when it comes to 2025 and Amazon. So which is the first one we're going to go with?
A framework that could or should be tested to increase conversion rates, supported by a few big footballs.
So when talking about your conversion rate, right, we're not talking about click-through rate. We're talking about conversion rate for a second. So when it comes to your conversion rate, everyone likes to look at the CTR, the main hero image, right? And you do need that, but on not a parallel, but in the same way, you have to get insights as to your PDP, your product detail page. So let's say, for example, you get the click and then someone lands on your listing and it doesn't match up. It's not talking specifically to that avatar. It's not saying what they need to know. And it's just not clear, whether that's in the image stack, whether that's in the brand story module, A+ content. A lot of that stuff could be off. If you're selling a water bottle, for example, and I ask, who's your avatar? Who's your ICP? And they say, everybody. No, it's not. Not everyone can afford a $45 water bottle, right? So it's a specific customer, specific avatar that you're targeting. So this is an example of a poll that you can do on PickFu to understand your conversion. This is an open-ended poll. So we're saying just visit this Amazon listing and what questions do you have? These kind of polls will unveil things that you probably never even knew about your product. So in this example right here, this is a tincture, which is apparently a phrase for a dropper, Blueburn herbal supplement. So I was interested in wondering who's the ICP for this, because the image stack doesn't really show it, right? It's a $39 price point, but they're selling about over 1,000 units a month. And I come down to the A+ content, they don't have A+ content. As a shopper, I come here and even though they're doing decent sales, right, for a higher price point item, could they be doing more on this? Absolutely. Because from what I'm seeing here, Noemi, can you tell who the avatar is for this from these images? You can't. All you're seeing is very abstract, a blue fire and all these other kind of things. So I don't see who is buying it. I don't see why they should buy it. I'm not seeing the us versus them of other solutions that are out there. I'm not seeing how to take it, why I see nothing over here, right? So it's almost like a mysterious blue liquid that I'm supposed to take and hopefully it makes me better at something. I don't even know what it's supposed to do, right? So when I take a look at the PickFu poll and I targeted women who are Amazon Prime subscribers, because I said, let me take a shot in the dark, right? And they're saying, and I'll zoom in a second so you can actually see a little bit better. What is actually in the supplement? I don't think it says. You don't think that's going to hurt your conversion rate? If someone clicks on your page and you run a paid ad and they have no idea what's in it, explain why it's called Blue Burn. I like the product, but is it for all ages? So this is data for you to see and understand, are there side effects? And you could see the demographic over here for that. That's a 45 to 54-year-old female with 0 to 35K income. So you have to take the data and parse it out of what's actionable, what's not. So in this poll, we didn't drill down by income, but if you're a higher price point, you might want to, because you don't want feedback on something that someone can't buy. Was it approved by a physician? How many drops are needed? How long does it last? So you can see these are the questions that if you're not answering on your listing, it's drastically going to hurt your conversion rate. Because if I go over here and I take a look at this, is it an interesting main hero image? In my opinion, no. It doesn't tell me what it is. There's majority of the photo is post edits and vegetables, but the only compelling thing is that there's a blue drop. So I'm willing to believe that this brand probably has a cult following off Amazon, and people are going and buying it because they know from this one person that it works. But for someone that just lands on it, all that data is showing that and you're probably the expert with this, right? What's a typical CPC in like the supplement space?
This is a specific supplement, so it's not necessarily like a caps, but it can range anywhere between $5, $56. So it really depends on the keywords that you're going for. But I believe that even me, on this end, I love to see products as an advertiser and as a data analyst. And sometimes I'm just like, yeah, no one is going to see it like that. Everyone's going to see like your regular Joe Schmo. When you're going to go on Amazon looking up, it's what is this product? And honestly, besides the brand name, I was like, oh, what is this? It's like a Blue Burn herbal supplement tincture. Okay, like all those keywords, the Blue Burn, that's the brand name.
So if you're at the higher end of it, could you imagine paying this amount of cost per click and then people get there and they have no idea what they're looking at? So it's very painful for brands to spend this kind of money and then not yield those proper results, right? So you could see here, I like to just run some Jungle Scout data on this, right? So they're paying to be number 7 for fat burner. I can't even imagine how expensive that is. To be number 7 for the term fat burner with about 50,000 searches, number 12 for fat burners for women. So the data here shows the woman as typically the ICP. So I did target it right for the PICU poll. People are using this tactic, Munja, burn weight loss drops. They're using shorthand ways of putting Mounjaro. Mounjaro is like Ozempic. They're actually ranked better than they are paid, right? But look at this apothecary, right? Metabolism booster. That's what the search phrase of how I found that. They're paying to be number 7. When someone's searching for metabolism booster, and they land on your product, how are you boosting my metabolism? What are you doing differently? Why are you better than a pill? Why do I have to take some blue mystery liquid when if I go to metabolism booster, when the rest of the SERP is pretty much pills? So if I was this brand, I would be super clear on my PDP. You don't want to take pills. This is easy. And by the way, how does it even taste? I don't even know. They don't say how Blue Burn tastes. I hope it doesn't burn, you know what I mean? But that's the thing. We need a little bit more clarity on that. And positioned at a very high slot in a very expensive space, and your listing falls flat. They don't even have A+ content on this one. That's crazy, in my opinion. It could be a fluke. It could be the kind of thing where it's like, oh, it's just this one and it's in the works or something like that. It's in development. But you could see from the rest that they're offering, I still don't see the avatar. I don't see the happy, smiling face. Okay, they have A+ here. But I hate these stylized images. Like, you don't need to show a cartoon of someone putting it in their mouth. You could take a photo of someone putting it in their mouth and it's going to resonate with me a lot more. This looks like alcohol, which is not bad. But what happens if, oh, this is take the edge off. Wait, what is this for, though? Oh, white wine inspired. Well, why would I take that? What is that doing for me? See, it's not clear. And if I think I've looked at 15,000 listings. So I'm pretty slick with finding things. And if I'm having a problem finding it, what do you think my wife, who she shops, but she doesn't really look at listings like I do, she's going to have a problem understanding what this is for.
Hey guys, real quick, this channel grows only once you share it. No ads, no fancy tricks, just word of mouth. So if anything connects with you or it might help someone you know, text it, DM it, post it, whatever feels right. Thanks so much. We actually have one supplement brand that has a similar approach. So if it's okay with you, I would like to go through those. Right now, I think that this might be, can you just also showcase it's not a case study that I'm going to showcase, but like based on whatever you showed me, because you were asking on what do you think that is going on here? Something that is very often happening is that, especially supplement brands, especially brands who already have maybe created brand awareness or clientele based on other platforms, and then they are transitioning into Amazon. Because look at they are selling like around $70,000. This product, the other product that you showcased, it was selling around 70,000 per. This alone, it's making around 38,000 revenue per month. This is the type of product that they already have, maybe a Shopify, maybe they are known somewhere else and they are bringing their product on Amazon. A common pattern that I'm seeing is that most people believe that whatever worked there is going to work also on Amazon, which is completely not the case. Actually, we also had a supplement brand with which we had a lot of back and forth, and I was like, yes, I understand that this is something that is working right now for your Shopify or on your website, but it's not going to cut it for Amazon. The second case is really just because you're selling somewhere else and you have the belief that people already know your stuff, whoever is going to buy it, they are maybe preferring to buying it on Amazon versus your website. That's why you're not going to put in the effort. And this is one of those biases where most brands are just leaving a lot of money on the table just because they're not up for the platform. They're also running Google ads. If you are the brand owner behind this one, take it as a criticism when it comes to what are the things to improve. This is not an insult. So that's really important to understand what is the root cause of what is happening right now, because right now we're seeing only images, and based on the images we can give feedback, we can criticize what next can be done. But I think also something that most people are really missing is that we have to understand where the customer is right now or where the brand owner is right now so we can guide them, because it doesn't depend if I'm going through this listing with you, John, and we're going to give our criticism. If we are not meeting in the middle of why this is something that is going to help you, there's going to be no understanding there. And then they are going to take it as, oh, they just criticized my listing and actually they are insulted. So that is a really important takeaway here, because what we're giving feedback based on where you are right now. So we're meeting you there and how we are seeing things. So we are offering something that is important.
I think it's interesting too, because I'm looking at their Ulta graphics. Their Ulta graphics are better than their Amazon ones. Their hero image here shows a box. And I talk about that all the time, that you don't need all this stuff, right? Anyone watching knows me that I always go into this. But I just want to show how they're leaving money on the table, especially with their ads, by not doing this, right? So this is their offering, right, over here. And then this is their Amazon one.
I believe that what is happening right now, there's so many people who are watching this type of John's amazing next of this is what it was, this is how it is. And I think what is happening right now is there are so many copycats who are trying to improvise whatever they are seeing, but they lack design expertise, they lack understanding colors, how do they combine, they lack understanding why would you put something like that there. So I believe that right now actually what you're doing is just amazing, and it's just showcasing how to do it right, because most of the time what is happening is that, oh, this is the new thing and I'm going to implement it, but there is no framework behind why am I doing it and what am I adding. Because to be super honest, you were saying here that there's the package in the back. Most of the time what is happening is that while that might be a really good idea to add the package in the back, or add maybe how does the supplement look like or what it tastes like, if you're going to execute poorly, you're going to pay the price, because cheap, it's most expensive. So just walk us through on whatever is going on right now.
Yeah, when I take a look at this image, I don't know what I'm looking at, especially on the SERP. They have the assets, they just need to make it better. So you see the difference? All I did was restructure what they had, and I added a post edit over here. Metabolism booster. Very simple kind of things that you can do to make it just make sense. And you could add in this kind of stuff to make it look really good and compelling and interesting. And then if you still want to add these elements of ginger or cinnamon, you could still do that here, but you want to take advantage of this real estate, because over here you have nothing. You can't put text floating in the middle of thin air. You have a box, you should anchor it behind the package and then do the post edits on top of it. So you can take here and I could say cinnamon, and you could still do the same tactics that you want to get across about the all natural and the organic or whatever the talk track is by showing this kind of stuff. By the way, this is Canva. It's very easy to use, and it's loaded with all of this stuff already inside of it. So if I wanted to showcase maybe some cinnamon, I could take this and just go like this and drag that to the back. And now we're having a little bit of cinnamon. What's that? Ginger? We'll just do one more for argument's sake, right? So ginger, right? It almost looks like that's a photo from Canva anyway. You can just take some ginger, and however you want to do it. If you want to do the ginger slices, you do this, right? And then what you're doing is just making it just a little bit better, because we want you to be able to say from the main hero image, do I know everything that I need to know before I click to make this purchase? So we said metabolism booster, we have the branding behind it. You still have more room to say something over here. Is the product made in the US? If it is, you want to point that out. So I typically look at other sort of compelling things here. Cortisol, there's this maca root and blue spirulina. I don't know what that is. So I think the only other thing that's compelling that I would put over here was I would grab like a dropper from here. I would actually take this one and I would go here and I would remove all this. What that's going to do is just give me the dropper by itself. What you can then do is put the dropper in another portion that has dead pixel space, right? So maybe we're talking about the dropper being over here. You could still add that blue dropper over here like this to show folks that it's blue, right? So now I'm able to very clearly understand everything you're trying to say in this image, but just better.
Could you please also like create the very first image? Because what I love, and I think that's something that we are often missing, is like seeing the before and after. Can you add one more image that is the very first picture with the packaging and the product itself? Because even the sheer fact that the packaging is way further from the product itself, I believe that is something that can be tested. And we're going to go like other topics as well, like how should we test something, the positioning, when it comes down to the product, the box. I think this is really important.
In the meantime, what I want to do while we move on to the next one, I want to download my iterations and then let the PickFu run while we're doing everything else. So let me show you guys how we would do that really quickly, because PickFu is super snappy and quick. So what I would do is just go to PickFu and go to the dashboard here. I'm going to open up a new poll. I'm going to go to a comparison poll. I'm going to add an option. I'm going to go to upload. I'm going to grab my metabolism booster, all three of them, just like that. If you were shopping on Amazon for a metabolism boosting product, which image would you rather click on to learn more and why?
Here, just something that I am noticing right now, because you're doing this already by excellence, because you practice this so many times. Something really important that most people, whenever they're running PickFu polls, and this is also not only a money-saving trick, but like stress-saving trick, you ask specifically if you were shopping on Amazon. So first off, we're prompting, you are shopping on Amazon. 2, for a metabolism boosting product. So you already have the main keyword there, so people understand whatever they would shop for. 3, which image would you rather click on? So between A and B. And these are really important takeaways, simply because most people, what I'm seeing so far on my end, they are going to complain that PickFu is expensive. You can make PickFu be cheaper for you. And this will be one of the way. And not only that, but taking off the stress of, okay, I tested this, but I forgot to test whatever.
Yeah. One cool thing with PickFu, we have improved with AI. So you can click on it if you think your question's not that good. And what AI, our tool, will spit out is a little bit better worded. So when browsing for a metabolism boosting product on Amazon, which image are you most inclined to click on to explore further, and what specific elements of the image influence your choice? I like that a little bit more. So I'm going to take that one, right? So we're going to do a smaller poll. We'll do 30 people. And I don't want to do random because I want to do Prime members, and I'm going to do women. I can do supplement users, right? Yes, some days, yes, every day. But for the sake of this, I just want to do females on Amazon. And you can see it's $48. It's not breaking the bank, right? But the data that it's going to give you is massive. So let's let this run. Let me don't look at all my prepaid PickFu credits and be jealous if you're watching. So now that's running, right?
Amazing. Is it okay with you if I'm going to go ahead and share on case study based on whatever actually we're doing right now?
Yeah.
Basically, the reason I created this case study is because most of the time what is happening is that what I advised last year, it was like first optimize for conversion and only afterwards run ads. But what I'm seeing so far on my end, actually, it's going to be way more helpful to continue running ads, optimize, and then see the ad efforts afterwards. One of the common myths is that you should delay optimization until revenue is high. And the uncommon fact it is that if you're not optimizing now for better conversion, then when? And this is especially for a brand that is quite a small brand. Actually, it's a 6-figure brand, like low 6-figure brand. And the reason why I'm sharing this one with you guys is to understand, especially if you are at the beginning of the journey, learn it the right way. Learn it the way that you have to A/B test all the time on Amazon, no matter what. This is not only for big brands to test. This is once that you're starting, already your listing is up. You maybe have 1 review, 2 reviews. Start right away, because this is just a discipline that you're going to do. And basically, this is a case study for a kitchen and dining brand increased conversion by 115%. Actually, this is a brand that faced several challenges. First off, they were dependent on PPC, which means that usually tacos was equals to ACOS was equals to like whatever is going on right now. Yes,
Through
it
the
was
roof.
high.
Very
Exactly.
high.
They also face the buy box issue. And here, during this buy box issue, what this means is actually we cannot advertise for Amazon. And it took us around like a week or so to fix this issue. And we were like, all right, so what can we do in the meantime to see actually improvement? As you can see here, traffic dropped significantly just because if the eyeballs that you're bringing it through PPC and those eyeballs are not coming, then our solution was really to address all these challenges. And what we did in the meantime, we tested. We A/B tested their main images. The product had 3 different variations, a white, a green, and black variation. And what we wanted to see basically is that without PPC, how would this product perform? Because it's really easy if you are pushing PPC towards the product and then to see how it's going to perform, because then you will say that, okay, main image had been optimized, that PPC was running, and then so what we wanted to avoid 100% is mixed data between what is going on and test only the one aspect, which is the main image. So we didn't draw any PPC traffic because there was like buy box issue, right? And then what we tested is for all 3 variations, we wanted to have a data-driven analysis. So based on this one, the green variation before and after here, this was during November 21st, 28th, and November 13th, 20th. What is really important for you to understand is that there was an increase in conversion of 128% without PPC sales. And why the revenue increased just by a bit, like by 8%? As you can see here, imagine that at this point, we're not running any more ads. We are comparing what it was with ads and then without ads.
It's interesting that the sessions went down, but the conversion went up.
Correct. So this went down just because exactly what I was explaining to you. Beforehand, there were ads. Sessions must go down because the traffic was generated by PPC.
I just think it's so interesting, right? The conversion going up. I like seeing when numbers do that kind of stuff because it makes me wonder and ask more.
Yeah, exactly. I know I am in PPC and I know how to lie with data and I know how should not be lied with data. And most of the time what is happening is that, to be super honest, if you have a point, you want to make your point, you're going to bring all the data that is going to make your point. And here why I wanted to emphasize so much on this one, and sessions went down. If PPC is driving your traffic and there are no more people who are going to find the product via just the traffic, then what's next? So for the white variation, what happened actually? Again, conversion rate increased by 96%. The revenue decreased by -2% with a -6% drop in session. This is real data, like real time, what happened for each product. And then for the black variation, this is so crucial because this one increased 150% in conversion rate. And also, as you can see, it's doubled in sales, right? So it increased 166%. So this is really important takeaway because what we did is we optimized the main images. First, previously, the green variation was the best-selling one. Was it we optimized the main image? Look at that. The black variation, it was double. And while it's still a small portion, during main image optimization, what we found out is not only that the green variations increased or improved, but the black variation, which we thought that this is not going to be such a good seller, it proved us that the black variation is something that most people would prefer still if they would see it. This was in the kitchen category, and it's like a coffee mug that is going to like self-heating coffee mug. And the only reason why I did not edit the picture is just because the brand, like, we have an NDA with the brand and so on, you know, but I've so much wanted to, you know, because like previously, and it's like just small tweaks and exactly the ones that you're showcasing in your pick football, right?
I would always think that out of color options, black would always do well. So it's interesting that it increased like that and how it wasn't as good of a performer before.
Yeah, exactly. We updated the main images and that drive already conversion rates up, the revenue growth, and especially for the green variation, it grew just a bit, but for the black variation, it just doubled up by 169%. And here, the new insight, this is the important point for I wanted to make. The new insight, it was that there was a preference towards the color variation, only that people, whenever we drove traffic and we drove PPC to the green one, they would buy the green one. They wouldn't even look at the black variation. Once that we started PPC, then we could see clearly, okay, now that we have this data, where should we run ads towards?
You want to button up your listing to get the most bang for your PPC. But can you talk through what was changed in the image that made it a little bit more compelling in the hero image?
So the main image, it was just the product itself. The image that was updated, it was the product. It came with a charger. It was a box that is like super giftable. It was these spinning pills that are going to spin your drink.
Like magnets on the bottom that spin around or
Yes,
something like that?
exactly.
Yeah, something like that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So all the elements of the product itself versus this is a product versus all the elements that are coming with. If this is giftable, the box behind, how nice the box looks and so on. Because it's not only that it's giftable, everything just showcased the value of the product basically. So here, as I was saying as conclusion, in this case study really just reinforced the fact that it's so critical that even if you're small, even if your product makes $200 in a week, and basically that's a product that makes, or a variation that makes 800 per month. If you're going to just do a small tweak on showcasing what actually your product is, it's going to double your revenue for variation. And what if you have 10 products and you're going to do this for 10 products and you're increasing that? Or what if you have a catalog of 100 SKUs? Of course, you would learn which one to prioritize, but just like giving you the option of what if you could actually, with very small detail, showcase whatever your product is, and you're just like opting out and thinking that no, I'm too small of a brand. So that's really the takeaway there. And yeah, I think that this is really important also for smaller brands to understand, because this is what bigger brands are already doing, and this is why they are winning.
And just before we go on to the next thing, I just want to hop back into give some updates on that poll that I did live in front of everyone. So far, mine is winning right here. Get a hint that there are some natural products. I could see a lemon in the picture. I guess I got to make my ginger a little bit different. B was more attractive. C was okay, but I prefer to see where I could see the ingredients, right? And then over here, the reason they're picking this one, it shows the ingredients as more organic. The food seems very random, so this person didn't like it. But you have to look at the data, right? Looking over here, this is a female 45 to 54. This is female late 30s, early 40s. This is 65 plus, right? The one over here is 65 plus. So understanding if your avatar is more in line with the late 30s, early 40s, that seems to be the better option for that avatar. So let's load two more before we go continue. I chopped it up from the images that were on Amazon. And if this brand was to just change it to this image, right, it's going to be a night and day difference for their CTR, for their CVR. And that's what the power of Pick Food data, because you wouldn't know. You would just take some random guy's word for it on the internet, and you don't want to do that. You want to have data. Even though I know what I'm talking about, I still do Pick Food polls. I work at Pick Food. I do Pick Food polls all the time because I'm like, is this really going to work? Am I really putting too much in this image? Is it resonating with the right person? And when I find that it starts resonating with the wrong avatar, the wrong demographic, then it could be a perfect image, but if it's not focused on the right person, it's never going to get purchased.
Absolutely. Love it. People like to be so much complimented. And whenever they are going to showcase their design, this, which are the nice things that are going to be said? And no, here what you're doing, you're gathering data. And even if it's the one person who's going to say, I don't like that, you have to take it in consideration. Does not matter really, the age does not matter anything. Because what you can do always, you can improve the appealness. Does it has the yum effect? Even if you're going to add something that is small, does it have the yum effect? Or does it has, okay, this person is saying XYZ. How important that is to be optimized in whatever I'm going to create next. Instead of seeing it as this applies, this does not apply, generalistically, all those ideas that are there, how can I make them into a whole to improve everything? Most of the time what I'm seeing is we just are so biased to, that applies, that doesn't apply, just because we understand what the product is, but people don't. Like most people don't. And that was a genuine answer. And maybe it was like an answer that you should be considering.
Yeah. As you were saying that, I instantly thought of like creatine gummies or these gummies in space, right? But which one of these stands out to you the most? I'm going to answer after you answer.
All right. So I'm going to go off from a specialist point of view, and I'm going to go off on me browsing on Amazon. The first thing that I would click on is the first image. Why? It's because it shows up first, and because we are structured as human beings to read from left to right, maybe in other countries whenever they are reading from right to left. But that's the first one that I would click on. Would I buy it? Not sure. The one that has mango, just the sheer fact that it has mango, it's like important for me. The one that has blueberries, I'm not sure if it's something that I would like to eat, and I'm not sure if that is how it looks like. The color of the product, that is not anymore. What is that?
This little gummy.
Yeah, those are raspberries.
Blue raspberry is like a flavor for drinks, but it's not a real thing.
So
it's just
that
a
is
flavor.
not, but it is not anymore a trigger for me. The raspberry, even if it's stylistically perfect, it's not triggering me to click on it. You know what I mean?
So I'm going to go with this one just because my brain is the way that it is. This image, if you put a buy now button, I could buy right from this. The reason is it tells me everything. It tells me the flavor. It tells me exactly what it is. It tells me the delivery of it. It's a gummy. It tells me 5,000 milligrams. It tells me there's 120 of them. It tells me for social proof and trust, it's made in the US and it's sugar-free. Even if I hate mango, I'd be like, okay, let me click on it and see if they have other flavors. Oh, and they do. They have strawberry, right? It looks a little bit different, but they have strawberry. So that's the thing, right? We need to act as if your hero image is it. What happens if your hero image is all that people see? Because for a period of time, Amazon was testing underneath add to cart, buy now. They've since stopped that in supplements, but for a period of time, you were just buying from the SERP, which is dangerous because if your image looks like, I don't know, I'm trying to find a bad one. Supplements, hard to find something that's not doing anything, right? But if you're a small brand and you just put this up and no one knows you, you're not going to get clicked, right? Even these companies over here, they're doing 5,000 units. They're showing the grape on the outside. Even though it says grape flavor, they're showing it. So I think it's really, really important. I mean, this one I used as I spoke at Innovate this past one. I did a presentation on best practices for hero images. I showcased this product as being in this category, the best hero image as an example of a shining example of what a good hero image is. It says 120 gummies, 6,200 milligrams. It tells me the flavor, blueberry gummies. I see blueberries. I see the product outside the packaging. I see very clearly what it is. It's a no-brainer, right?
I think something really important for us to understand, example of good and bad practices when it comes down to how to do it right now in Amazon in 2025. And how much do you have to pay for a bad hero image? And what is the difference between these two? Because right now, as I was saying, John, just because the fact that we are so day in and day out in this information, we understand what is going on. The end goal is that the brand owner understands the importance of why we are talking about that. We're not selling services, we're not selling Pickful, we're not selling Scalewave. We are selling, hey, you can do this better. Why wouldn't you? And you don't have to figure it out by yourself. Listen to someone who already figured it out. Everything what you showcased already, John, everything what I showcased in the case today is like, these are real humans who paid a lot of money to get that. You don't have to go through the same mistakes. Learn from someone else's mistake rather than.
I think a lot of people that are doing somewhat well on Amazon, they don't want to change what's already working and they're leaving a lot of money on the table, or they're concerned of the risk reward, right? If I do this to my main hero image, am I going to screw up my sales? Am I going to go down? Am I going to get an image suppression, right? An image suppression can be fixed in 2 minutes. You just revert back to your old image. You're not getting suspended off of Amazon and your livelihood being taken down because of an image suppression. The likelihood of you losing sales, if you're adding elements that enhance the shopping experience for the customer, is not going to happen. So if you sell a blueberry flavored product and you don't show the product outside, you don't show a blueberry outside, and then you add those two in, I cannot imagine why your sales would go down for people being mad that you're showing the product. It just doesn't happen.
I also have a slide of before and after, because this is something that we ran in November. And then, of course, we added in some more PPC efforts and some more budget into it. But what I wanted to showcase is like the effect on, now that you figured out whatever it's working, you can invest in PPC, you can scale. And this is like really a huge stepping stone. I'm not saying that this is going to happen to your product. I'm not going to say that you're going to be able to replicate exactly the same process. I'm not saying that, because maybe the product it's you're selling, it's not giftable. What I wanted to showcase is like some real results from this client that I showcased. Because this is honestly is the first time that I've seen that we as an agency achieved this growth we never did beforehand. And this is like huge. And these were the results. And why I'm showcasing this to you is for you to understand that, yes, PPC spend went high. We almost doubled the spend. The sales from 4,000 to 12,000. The orders from 73 to 163. The ACOS from 82 to 41. The tacos from 36 to 12. The impressions, the clicks, the click-through rate, the sales from 6,000 to 34,000. A total 440%.
Hold on. What kind of product was this?
It's the same product we're talking
Oh,
about.
wow.
So we optimized it, and then we fixed the buy box issue, and then we were ready to invest in ads. So that's why I'm saying that it's really not about our achievements. Besides PPC optimization, besides applying the right strategy, besides having inventory, besides the fact that it's a giftable item, is like, why not do this testing even whenever you know that if the product is a giftable item, it's sure that it's going to showcase on the main image. If it is for kids, if you have something that is special to you, or it's a seasonal item, why not do that? Why not add that? Our end goal is that you are successful, because whenever you are successful, you can replicate even more success. But if we're not going to do that, then how would you know? So I'm sharing this with you because this is like a huge result and a huge jump from freaking, okay, what we did. We just ensured that we are in a downtime. Okay, now buy box issues. Now what do we do next? Because we cannot invest in PPC. All the strategies that we crafted during the 1 month that the client repeat us, okay, what's next? So we were taking this time of, okay, just because we are down on PPC, what else can we do, you know? And this is like, no matter of the size of your brand, you can do it, you can replicate it as well.
Can you pull that up again real quick? Yeah, I just want to point out, this is super interesting because PPC went up.
Yep.
Regardless, doesn't matter. PPC sales, the PPC spend went up by $1,400, but the PPC sales went up by $8K. But I think like a really good number, like ACOS tacos, those are good metrics. I always tell people 15% or less on a tacos, 30% or less on an ACOS. That's typical where you want to go. But what's interesting is impressions were almost half. Right?
Yep.
The clicks were a little bit less, but the click-through rate went up by almost half to achieve 6x sales.
That's PPC and like conversion and everything going well and ranking for one specific keyword that also gains search terms. So this is why I'm saying that right now, the effort that I'm showing is like, it's everything. It's holistic. Yeah. It's PPC optimization, image optimization, being prepared. Also, maybe if we do anything on the pricing end, why not like after this, now that we know it works, why not like increase pricing?
Raise price.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying that right now, this is not, I'm not saying that for the same money you're going to like, for the same PPC spend, you're going to get the same results or like better results. I'm saying if you figured out what worked, why not invest even more in whatever that it works?
Yeah. And I think that should be your shining star example moving forward, because that's really good results for you as a team. Now, last question is like, what was that timeline like to go from A to B, to go from really down in the dumps to like crushing it? I see the date for the sales, but what did that look like on your end with your team, with optimizing, with testing? Like, what was that whole time frame looking like?
Sure. So it was optimizing and testing. We tested everything 1 week. So we tested 2 different weeks first to see if conversion is going to improve. And then once that we saw conversion improve, then also in the meantime, we getting back visibility through the buy box issue was solved, then we doubled down. So here, as you can see, let me see if I can see. So it was between November. So the 2 last weeks of November, let's say, this is where actually PPC still was working. So the first week was working, the second week did not, the third week did not, and then a fourth week. So basically that was the time range between these 2 results. So 2 weeks, I would say.
I think it's interesting for people to hear from a PPC agency, stop ads. I think most people, when they hear PPC agency, they think stop ads. You got to be crazy. We got to quadruple ads. So I think it's a little refreshing for people to hear a solution provider say, hey, pump the brakes. We got to see what's going on first before we spend the money for paid ads, because otherwise that's where I see a lot of folks. I'm friends with a lot of agency owners in the space, and I see a lot of churn coming from that, right? Where they lose clients because they're just burning ad money. If you were to go to a full service agency where they were to do creative PPC, SEO, sometimes you can just opt in for just one. So I've worked at agencies before, they said, we're full service. And they'll say, no, I just want PPC. And then you look at the listing and you say, we could do it, but it's not going to perform as well versus you doing an optimization to make sure you're spending the money towards something that's optimized is going to perform. And people are stubborn and they say they don't want to spend the money, and they learn the hard way. But I think the overarching theme and message is get everything buttoned up. It's okay to stop ads. If you're spending $10K a month on ads and your listing sucks, take that $10K you're about to spend and fix your listing. Right? Fix your listing, because it might be painful. Oh my God, my sales dropped. but were they good to begin with? If you have an ACOS of 80%, you'd almost rather no sales for a little period of time in order to reset and get better numbers.
So I think that it's really interesting that you had that takeaway. Actually, that's not exactly the takeaway I wanted to share. I just wanted to share the fact that, yes, most agencies might be self-serving because they are charging on a revenue, right? We are charging on a flat fee base. So that's also one of the reasons. I'm not saying brands should be choosing us versus other agencies and so on. I'm just saying, just understand the concept behind whoever is doing something, why they would do it. The most important takeaway though here it is that we did not want to stop ads. I don't want you to stop necessarily ads. What I want is that while you also have ads, in this scenario, we had to stop ads just because we had a buy box issue. We couldn't advertise. So in that case, we also had the raw data on without ads. Beforehand, we were also running ads. But I think it's really important for everyone to understand is the moment that you're stopping ads, actually what you're doing is you will still have a halo effect for 1 week, 2 weeks of whatever ads generated for you. And if that is picking up, that is a great sign for you that conversion and whatever you did, actually it works as it's supposed to work. So the sheer fact that it was stop the PPC ads is just because the halo effects was still there. If you would have left it for 1 month, 2 months without PPC, all the PPC efforts, all the market share that you gained through PPC is going to be down just because other one is selling more units and then it's based on that. So just a tiny clarification that I wanted to make because I think it's really, really important because most of the time that is the one thing that are going to tell brands, yeah, I stopped PPC and I still have sales. Yeah, wait for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Come back then. Come and then tell me, you know? And this is really important for everyone to understand, I think.
It does. And I would just say, you are the expert in PPC, not me. I like to stay with the creative and understand that kind of stuff. So
definitely.
This has been awesome. So where can anyone go to contact you and do all that kind of good stuff?
Feel free to go to scalewave.io. That's our website. That's where you can find even more about us, about me. I also started my YouTube channel. I'm providing a ton of content, a ton of education. So from the website, you can navigate through everything. On LinkedIn, Noemi Bolojan, that is Noemi Bolojan. You friend me and say, hey, I was listening to this episode with John. I really liked the insights, or I didn't like at all the insights. So that's the easiest methods to find me.
And me, I just got started on LinkedIn. You can search my name, John Aspinall. Feel free to reach out to me. I'm going to start posting on there soon. Pigfood.com, Aspinall right here at the bottom at pigfood.com. Feel free to email me if you've never used Pigfood before. I'll throw some credits in your account. We'll get you started with a couple of freebie polls. The important thing is test. Always want to be testing. But Noemi, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for hopping on.
My pleasure.